Hi, Lucky. How are you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
Oh, not bad at all. Before we get started here, I just wanted to tell you this movie was phenomenal. All of you guys did a great job on it. I
Oh,
think you have a
cool,
new
man. It was a
classic
lot
on
of
your.
fun.
I think you have a new classic on your hand here, so I'm
Cool,
really
cool.
proud of
Welcome to your list.
it.
Hopefully.
Hi, I'm Scott with Scaretissue.com. Recently, I was floored by the new anthology Halloween film, Tales of Halloween. In my opinion, it's a new classic. It features 11 stories from 10, 11 stories from 10 directors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It, for all of you listening, I am lucky enough to be talking to Lucky McKee. Lucky is the director of May and the Woman. One of my favorite horror movies is May. Oh, I discovered that years ago when my sister suggested that I check out this little film that was on HBO, and I just stumbled across it. I must say, the end of that movie is got to be the best ending I have ever seen in my life.
Wow. That's nice to hear.
Well,
maybe you could see more movies. I don't know.
But it was so surprising. I don't know if you're one of those that likes to talk spoilers or anything like that, but
I don't. Yeah. Spoilers don't bother me.
All right. Well, the moment that her friend opens up its eyes and then the screen just goes dark from that just was so surprised because it was completely different from the rest of the movie.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a big. Well, you mean when the thing comes to life, its hand comes alive?
Yeah, just the
never actually opened its eyes, yeah. I mean, a big part of that was I had gotten myself down to the end of the script, and it wasn't something that was planned or anything. It was just I loved this character, I loved this girl May so much that I wanted to give her what she wanted, and just kind of bended the rules of reality in order to do so.
Now, was it meant to be a supernatural element, or was it a figment of her insanity?
I don't know. That's all open to interpretation. Maybe her and her friend are down in the Bahamas enjoying themselves, so to speak. Be good people.
Now May is not your first film. That honor, at least according to IMDb, actually goes to All Cheerleaders Die, which just got a remake.
Yeah, which I co-wrote and co-directed with my buddy Chris Severson, just like the remake.
Okay, now was that always listed as your first movie, or did that just was that one of those that just kind of cropped up in that weird Hollywood timeline?
No, it was the first feature. Both Chris and I decided we'd just graduated USC and the film school at USC where we'd met and become great friends, and we decided to tackle our first feature together. We didn't think anybody was going to give us a chance to make a movie, so we just teamed up and said, hey, let's just do something like really fun and just bonkers and do it together and learn from each other's discoveries and mistakes. And it was a great training ground for us. We both went on to make our first features very shortly after that, our first solo features.
Okay, what was his feature?
His first solo feature was The Lost, a Jet Ketchum adaptation.
Oh, okay.
Called The Lost, that I actually helped produce. It's an awesome movie. I highly recommend it.
I'll have to check that one out. I don't think I've seen that one.
I think you'll love it. Mark Center, the guy that's in my short in Tales of Halloween, is the lead character in The Lost, and he's incredible. I'd wanted to work with him ever since I had been a producer on The Lost, and we finally, all these years later, hooked up.
Well, what was it like remaking one of your own movies?
What we decided to do was, take the same base idea and then develop that, with all of hopefully the knowledge that we'd gained over the course of making our own movies over the course of the years. And it was really fun. It really kind of shook me and Chris out of our, the dark personal headspace of our solo features, and just got us to kind of loosen up a little bit and do something fun and just kind of crazy and bonkers again, and kind of tap back into that kind of youthful exuberance that got us started making movies. It was a fun, I don't want to call it a diversion because that kind of diminishes the might diminish it a little bit, but it was a fun, like curve in the road for both of us. I think it's only going to make our solo work better.
Oh, I understand completely. I mean, horror just has so many faces. I mean, some people won't, I mean, there's movies that you can watch and you want to be scared and you want to be challenged with them, and then there's other ones you just want to sit back and have a good time. And that's what all cheerleaders, and Tales of Halloween falls right into that. I mean, it's just, I think I had a smile on my face from the time it started till the time it was over.
That's so cool, man. That's the desired reaction. So
well,
hopefully it affects everybody that way.
Well, and it's so nice. I mean, I don't know. I guess I watched just a lot. I mean, there's a lot of filmmakers out there, and you can see a lot of laziness. And not really laziness, but just kind of. I don't really know how to describe it. Like, it just seems so bland, and they don't put their soul into it. And this movie just came across where everyone's like, you know what, we're going to do something fun, and everybody's going to have a good time with this, and we're going to give everybody everything that they want. There's going to be laughs, there's going to be scares, there's going to be gore, there's going to be messages. I mean, it just goes all over the place.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's, I liken it to a compilation album or a mixtape, where it's just like a collection of a bunch of like different types of songs, and it's like different people are going to connect to it in different ways, which is really cool. It's almost like a bag of candy, just reach in and you don't know what's going to come out, which is really cool.
That's a very good description. Now, how did you get involved with it? How did you get involved with Tales of Halloween?
Through Axel Carroll, and we'd been friends for years, and she put this thing together, and I was one of the last people she brought on, and I originally wasn't, she wanted me to be a part of it, but I lived out of town, so it didn't seem like it was going to be possible, but then at the last minute, she somehow magically got the producers to figure out how to get me out to LA and work with everybody, so I just joined in the fun. But yeah, Axel Carroll, the creator and producer of the thing, is the reason I'm involved.
Well, awesome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your segment?
My segment's called Ding Dong, and it's about a childless couple on Halloween night. The wife of which is very distraught that she doesn't have a child, and every time and all these little kids keep showing up trick or treating, just kind of drives her more and more mad, and it builds she's just sort of an abusive woman with her husband, and it kind of builds his fear, and kind of just has like this insane surreal crescendo that it all kind of leads to. But it's just a weird little story about the fear of having children. It's the best way I can describe it from a male perspective.
Yeah, and it wasn't very. I mean, you only had. I mean, that short is what, 15, 20 minutes long.
It's 8 minutes long. I hope
it's only 8. No. I
watched twice as long as it actually was.
I watched it 2 weeks ago, so my memory it's not even out yet. I mean, I just watched it off.
It was just so full of ideas that it felt longer to you in your mind. It's expanded into this amazing thing. So
yeah. Well, and
that's what
I guess
right?
How did you exactly?
Okay, perfect.
How did you come up with the design for the witch or the creature? Is she a witch? Is she a creature?
She's what she is. She just the image just kind of sprouted in my brain. I was thinking about how awesome Polly's face is and how awesome her smile and her teeth are, and I thought, like, wow, it'd be so cool to see her, as opposed to like the Wicked Witch of the West and Wizard of Oz, who has that bright green face that still disturbs me to this day. I thought, okay, let's go red, and then we were delving into like some fairy tale elements and candy and Halloween and all that kind of stuff. So we gave her candy cane arms, and then the multiple arm thing kind of grew from a good friend of mine, a producing partner of mine, Bob Piskowski, misinterpreted something I had written in my first draft, and he thought that she had an arm actually sprout out of her back, and I was like, well, I love that misinterpretation. Let's go with that. Let's give her, multiple arms, and it just kind of, like organically happened from there.
And I will say that was hilarious when that happens because you're not really expecting it. It just kind of happened. Wait a minute. Did that just happen?
Yeah. My wife has been designing characters and doing storyboards for me ever since The Woods.
Nice.
And she just has that. She has that ability to, for me to just give her a bonkers idea and just do it just perfectly in drawn or painted form. So she was, really, really, she was the designer of the Red Witch. So. All the my better half.
And I like it. And I actually have two boys in my house who are great big Star Wars fans. And all I could think of was that the witch looked like Darth Maul and then fought like Grievous.
There you go. Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that because part of me, in my own little way, was me. Like I always wished that they had done a witch, a Sith witch in the Star Wars movies. And I was like, okay, well, I'll do kind of like my own Sith witch.
So there you go.
That's funny you brought it up. I'm a huge Star Wars nerd, so.
Well, and I keep hearing all sorts of rumors too about stuff. Getting into Star Wars too. I mean, I keep hearing all sorts of rumors that are going on with that. I mean, I hear that they're talking about the Emperor may not be dead and may be in this new trilogy. So.
And the Emperor is my favorite character, so I would have no problems if they somehow figured out with like soap opera writing how to do that.
Well, if we're gonna clone Boba Fett millions of times, I think we can get the Emperor a couple times too.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, he's the best. He's the best in all of the movies. My favorite character. I love that evil motherfucker.
Now, I do love your work. You do get a lot but a lot of your work can be very polarizing to many people. What would you say to your critics that point out that maybe the antagonists in your films are an extension of your beliefs? I mean, it seems silly to me because horror needs to challenge, and I think that's what a lot of your films do. I've never understood that. I mean, when you hear about the uproar over I Spit on Your Grave and things like, sorry, I'm brain fart there. But you hear all sorts of uproar about these films, and they don't realize that the filmmakers do not want you to cheer for the antagonist. They're evil for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, all of my characters aren't an expression of my personal beliefs. They're expressions of my personal observations, and obviously, like I don't go around on Halloween night like chopping people's body parts off and then sewing them together to make a friend. It's like it's a fairy tale extension of like when of angsty thoughts that go through your head when you're young.
Right.
And the woman, it's a story about abuse. So you have to show abuse in order to, in order to be dramatically effective, and then to deal with it, to confront it,
Yeah.
So, yeah. So like I said, a lot of that stuff comes from personal observation, more than me. Like, I'm not trying to like send any messages or anything like that. I'm just kind of trying to show stuff that I want to speak, that I want to see,
Right. And I agree. The abuse that happened in the woman was it was necessary to the story to move it along. You needed to hate the father. And that really,
yeah.
And it was really wrong. So
unfortunately, those people exist, but not 99.9% of the world doesn't have like a wood nymph that comes out and saves them. Maybe I'm hoping there's that 0.1% out there that does have that good fortune. But yeah, I mean that's what's fun about movies is you can go to those fairy tale places.
Yeah, I think they got to be challenging. Now, getting back to Halloween, what's your favorite Halloween movie or Halloween memory from when you were a child?
Jeez Louise, favorite Halloween memory from when I was a child. I'm trying to, I mean, I just remember the fun of getting costumes and picking out a costume and creating a character, you know, like, I mean, it was just such a delight. I grew up with my older sister, 2 years older than me, you know, and I just remember just like how excited we'd be to get like, I'd get my shitty Spider-Man mask, you know, plastic Spider-Man mask, and she'd get her shitty like G mask or something like that, and just how cool we thought we looked. And you know, you go back and look at the pictures, and you just look ridiculous, you know. But when you're a kid, you just totally believe all this stuff. I mean, that was just like so fun. And of course, candy. You know, I mean, shit.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, you know, I didn't get to eat a lot of candy and junk and stuff like that. We had Cheerios at our house, not Fruit Loops, you know, and shredded wheat instead of Cocoa Puffs, you know. So getting all of that sugar at once was a spectacular experience. You know, it was definitely something to look forward to every year.